Imagine you're in a room full of people you've never met, important people. You're about to tell them about a project that you've just put months of effort into. That's why you're here. You step up to where everyone can see you. The room is quiet. All eyes are on you. You have to speak. Hi, I'm Zoe Bentley. I'm going to tell you about a website I made. What's wrong with this picture? It's obvious, right? I was nervous and honestly not very good. What's not so obvious is that it's not too hard to fix this. When I gave my first few speeches, I was awful. I read the whole thing off these full-size sheets of paper that I fumbled with for the whole thing. A good third of my words were, and I just stood there like a statue. Since then, I've improved. How? I went to a Toastmasters club and gave more speeches. This gave me the opportunity to practice speaking in front of an audience, to work on specific goals, and to get helpful feedback. I've gained a lot from 3 parts of Toastmasters in particular: speeches, evaluations, and table topics. Speeches. Practicing giving speeches really does help to improve your skills. And the Toastmasters environment is fantastic for practicing giving speeches because there isn't a lot of pressure. Plus, the manual that you get has a lot of good speech projects so that you can work on specific goals one at a time. The first project that you will work on is about giving a speech about yourself. It's called an icebreaker. When I gave my icebreaker, it was not my best. I read the whole thing off of my notes, which is normal for an icebreaker, but not something you want in a speech. I needed to really work on my use of the speaking area and my gestures, and I tried to fit way too many topics into one little speech. But this one speech was important. It got me into the flow of giving prepared speeches. Later speech projects gave me goals like organizing my speech and incorporating movement and gestures. Then I could incorporate those new skills into future speeches. And this brings me to evaluations. At the end of every meeting, all of the speakers are evaluated by another club member. Your evaluation is tailored to your specific speech goals, and your evaluator tells you both what you did well and what you could work on improving. Plus, they give you actual suggestions on how to improve what you didn't quite do right. When I've been evaluated, I found that having someone else evaluate my speech is really helpful because they always notice something that I never would have noticed. And likewise, having different people evaluate different speeches has been helpful because different people tend to notice different things. I've had people tell me that I kept putting my hair behind my ear, and that's kind of an annoying habit, so maybe I could work on that. And maybe if I moved to a different point on the stage to make my next point, it'd be more effective. And I've had people tell me, your only gesture's been this, so maybe you could change it up a little and work on practicing your gestures while you're practicing the rest of your speech at home. And sometimes your evaluator will even tell you you've noticeably improved in this area or that area of your speaking. And it's good to have an outside perspective on this too. And finally, table topics. Table topics are both the most fun and the most nerve-wracking part of a Toastmasters meeting. In table topics, anyone in the whole room can be called on to give a short 1 to 2 minute speech about the topic given to them by the table topics master. For example, you might be called on, or you can volunteer, to give a speech about, say, your favorite holiday. attended, the the table topics master had an interesting twist, because sometimes table topics has a theme or a twist that makes it all the more entertaining. And the twist was that we all had to speak about some object from a first-person perspective. We had to be that object. Some people were a paper cup or a camera flashbulb. And I was given the object a ball and chain. And I had to speak about that completely impromptu, no preparation. And speaking completely extemporaneously like this is really difficult at first, but it gets easier as you participate in more table topics. So I thought for a couple seconds, and I came up with the first thing on top of my head and said it. I was framed, I didn't do anything wrong. And then I just moved on from there. It's really hard to get used to this. It takes a lot of getting used to impromptu speaking, but it sure can be fun. Even in more normal topics, table topics can make you think about things from an interesting new perspective. Sometimes it's because you need to think about your topic from a different point of view in order to have something to say about it. Other better times, you come up with a new take on your topic that was given to you, and that makes your speech more interesting for everyone, and that's always a good thing. So as you give more speeches, get more evaluations, and participate in more table topics, it's all bound to get easier as you gain more skills. And don't forget, these are just the 3 things that I've gained the most from. There are dozens more amazing benefits you can get from Toastmasters. These include leadership skills, friendship, networking, resume building, and of course getting rid of those pesky ums and ahs. So keep coming back to this Toastmasters Youth Leadership Program so that you can gain these skills too.